Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, there is no denying the fact that Deadpool and Wolverine is an absolute smashing hit success. It will probably end up being the #1 rated movie at the box office for the most box office take ever. It definitely will end up passing $1 billion very shortly, if not probably this week. It will definitely hit that this weekend. And ladies and gentlemen, there's just no stopping the unbelievable force that this movie has had out there with the fans. This is something that has made them happy. This is something that has been pleasantly surprised. And one of the most wonderful things that we got out of this movie is some of the cameos that we all actually wanted to see, characters that were part of the story and that people have been wanting to see for the longest time. Obviously, one of the big, spoiler alert, if you haven't already seen the movie, some of the big cameos, of course, were like Wesley Snipes' Blade, you had Carmen Electra's Carmen Electra's or the Elektra character come back. I'm completely and totally having a brain fart right now. Apologize for that, boys and girls. But also, it's one of them situations where I don't ever cut anything out when I screw up. You guys get to see all of my screw ups first and foremost out there. But then, of course, X-23 coming back. It was just great. But the thing that made my audience cheer probably the most was when Deadpool was out there looking for a Wolverine to help him solve his issue. And he runs in to none other than, ladies and gentlemen, Henry Cavill's very own Wolverine. The Calverine that so many people have been waiting for, and the audience simply cheered out loud. It was an incredible feeling, and I've heard this from other people that went and saw the movie, that their audiences cheered as well, because this is something the fans have been begging for a very long time, and it's something we finally got to see thanks to Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman and the star power to get them to be able to get whatever they wanted for this movie, and that was one of the things. But the real question is, boys and girls, is this a one-off, or is this something we might see more of in the future? Well, it looks like our dear sweet friend Matt McGloin, with some of his wonderful insiders that he has friends over that he gets to go and hang out with at Comic-Con, San Diego Comic-Con every year, are giving him some interesting tidbits as to what the future of Henry Cavill as the Calverine might actually be. And also, we've got some ideas on what Kevin Feige has been saying lately as well. But needless to say, this is getting very interesting, and Matt has a very reliable track record, a track record that is so reliable that even That Park Place is also reporting this on as well. And I'm sure a bunch of other people are talking about this in videos and live streams and all this other kind of stuff out there. So we're going to check out this article from Matt, get all of the juicy details straight from the horse's mouth, and then maybe jump over to some of That Park Place's a little extra information as to what Cavill currently has on his dance card. But before we do, if you do enjoy our content, hit that like button, share with all your friends, and subscribe or follow if you have not already, because, ladies and gentlemen, we are inching our way closer and closer to 1,100, and I could not do that without every single one of you. Also, leave us a comment in the section down below. Are you excited to see the idea of Henry Cavill becoming the Wolverine? Do you think it's a possibility? Do you think Kevin Feige is that smart? And did your audience cheer in the movie theater when you saw him take his proper place as Wolverine in the MCU? So, boys and girls, from CosmicBook.News, Matt McGloin. Exclusive, Henry Cavill on talks for MCU Wolverine. Shares first look. So Henry shares an image from the movie and jokes referencing playing Superman. So here's one of the things on this one. This is actually the post right here from Henry Cavill's Instagram, which Instagram, it's hard to look at the pictures on Instagram and stuff like that. Anyway, but here it is. It's right here. You've got this poster here. You've got this picture. This is actually the first picture he actually put out on his social media of him as the Wolverine. And he says right here too, to be safe, I shaved the mustache off for this one. Just the mustache. Obviously referencing to a lot of the extra scenes that they had to go back and bring him back in for when he had the mustache or in the Superman role, where they had to edit it out and it looked like absolute trash. It looked really, really bad. And so, yeah, absolutely loved that. Absolutely loved it. Like I said, the audience literally cheered. But you've got him putting it out there, talking about it, reminding all of his fans how much he loved this role, and obviously very well done. So Henry Cavill shares a first look at himself as Wolverine in Deadpool 3. And for conversations I've had at Comic-Con with Marvel insiders, he might be up to play the character full time in the MCU. Now tell me that would not be awesome. And we know that they're trying to bring the X-Men in. We know Kevin Feige has got plans for that kind of stuff going forward. If rumors be true, Kevin Feige has fired all of the woke activists inside of his company, all the woke producers that caused so many of the problems, and basically said, hey, look, we tried it your way. We tried Kang. We tried all of the rest of these different things, and all these side characters you wanted us to bring in for your representation purposes, and guess what? It didn't work. 2 + 2 still equals 4. before, and we are still running in the business of making money around here. And guess what? Those dogs simply don't hunt. And that, for one, boys and girls, is definitely good information to hear, and actually kind of lines up with what we've been hearing as far as the Blade movie and all the changes that have been made with that one. Same thing with the Daredevil movie and a lot of this, or Daredevil television show and a lot of all that kind of stuff. So this could be, who knows, a change in the wind. And this would definitely be a smart move for Kevin Feige. Bring up the dump truck, because you're going to have to tie this guy down for a while, and he deserves every penny you can give him for that. The actor appeared in a cameo role credited as Calverine. I love that. I missed that part in the credits. I can't wait to go back and watch this movie a ton of times over to see all the different things I caught, but I absolutely love that. It looked so great. Like I said, the audiences literally cheered. It was so much fun. So to be safe, I shaved off the mustache for this one. Just the mustache. Joke Henry Cavill on social media referencing the Justice League fiasco involving Superman. Henry was filming Paramount's Mission Impossible at the time, and Justice League filmed, where his character in Mission Impossible has a mustache. Since he couldn't shave the mustache, Warner Bros. Did him dirty and erased it using CGI. But it looked awful and quickly went viral, becoming a big joke. In Deadpool and Wolverine, it's joked Henry Cavill playing Wolverine feels right, and that Marvel will treat him better than DC. Yeah, because that was the great little meta joke that Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool pulled in the movie, and it was funny, it was spot on, it was great, it was really cute, and a lot of the fans have simply seemed to love it. So will Henry Cavill play Wolverine? From what I told at Comic-Con, Henry Cavill actually might be in talks to play the MCU's Wolverine. I hear, similar to what he wanted for a return as Superman, he is asking for a lot of money to play Wolverine. And honestly, that makes sense, because getting involved in a cinematic universe like this, and maybe this is part of the reason why he did David Zaslav over at Warner Brothers decided to go in a different direction and give James Gunn the keys of the kingdom and a bunch of unknowns. It cost you a lot less money, and considering the fact that Warner Brothers is broke, they definitely needed to save as much money as possible, which honestly, the difference here, though, is we know Marvel's in a bad spot. We know that Disney has lost a lot of money over the last few years. The difference with this one is we know Kevin Feige has the pocketbook and the paycheck open, right? He's writing fat checks out to Robert Downey Jr., right? Obviously, Henry Cavill isn't on the same scale as Downey, especially in its significance to the MCU fan base and to the overall Marvel story, but it's something that the fans really wanted a lot for. So it would be a good idea to open up your pocketbook and just go ahead and cut the check and give everybody what they want. And depending on how much of a free reign Iger is actually given Feige to try to fix Marvel, I don't know if that's going to be a possibility or not, but it makes sense for him to ask for a lot of money, because when you get involved in a franchise like this, it ties you up for a while and makes it to where you can't go and work on a lot of other things. And we know Henry Cavill's got a lot of stuff on his dance card right now, right? We know that the Warhammer 40K thing's still supposed to kind of be in the works. We're not entirely sure. Games Workshop just put out a statement not too long ago saying the fact that it's still up in the air, that things aren't still, the finalizations aren't done. They've got until the end of December to finalize all that stuff, and it's not done yet. So that could still potentially all go up in smoke, and Henry Cavill and Games Workshop could be left shopping that around to somebody else, which obviously would delay that for a long time as well. So his dance card could be freed up, but he does have a lot of other things going on at the end of the day, so we'll have to wait and see what happens. We'll have to wait and see if Bob Iger and Kevin Feige can agree on an amount that they're actually willing to pay, and whether or not it's enough for Cavill to accept it. But honestly, boys and girls, I think this would be a very smart move. Open up the checkbook, boys and girls. Give Cavill what he wants and lock him down as the Wolverine going forward for the primary MCU timeline out there. At Comic-Con, Kevin Feige recently said that they don't have immediate plans to recast Wolverine. Hugh Jackman is rumored for Avengers Secret Wars and possibly even a Wolverine versus Hulk movies. The Avengers Secret Wars thing, I think, is an absolute positive. If the Wolverine versus Hulk movie ever happens, it would really surprise me because of the Universal rights, but still, that's the rumor going on right now. But yeah, Avengers Secret Wars and all of that stuff, all those Avengers movies, yeah, all of those cameos are on the plate for those. Feige added that he thinks the next Wolverine will be a very different style, and that makes an impression of Hugh Jackman would be a pretty big mistake. However, I'd argue that Jackman is actually doing an impression of Wolverine from the comics, which is what you want, but I get what Feige is saying to a degree. Obviously, some of the worries that would come with some of that is like maybe trying to bring an X-23 in as the proper Wolverine or something like that, and honestly, we all know that would be a huge mistake, and I don't think that's something Feige's really going to do anymore, considering the fact that he fired all of these producers that tried that nonsense and it failed miserably. So we'll see what happens. Henry Cavill as Wolverine looks unique enough and sets him apart enough from Hugh Jackman, yet still remembers the characters from the comics. It's rumored Feige fired the creatives at Marvel who didn't like comics and ruined the MCU. Once again, we've talked about that. Maybe we'll see Superman as an adamantium-laced berserker raiding mutie in the MCU. Feige reportedly did pay the Russos and Robert Jr. a big bag to return to the MCU. Bringing in Henry Cavill as Wolverine would also go a long way with fans to fix the MCU. We all know Henry is a big nerd when it comes to these things, so we know he would do Wolverine justice. And I do. I hope he's smart enough to do this. As to whether or not Cavill's asking for too much money, maybe it's not in the budget, maybe Iger's not willing to spend that much money on Henry Cavill, but it would absolutely be a huge mistake if they did not. Like I said, the audience literally cheered in my theaters and so many others. So I hope these rumors are true. Matt has been right time and time again in the past, whether it be from Batgirl, whether it be from the Fantastic Four, whether it be from so many other things that his inside sources out there at San Diego Comic-Con have told him to be true over and over again. As to whether or not this come to any fruition, I honestly don't know. If Kevin Feige's smart, yes, he will. They'll open up the checkbook and they'll pay Cavill what he wants and lock him down to be the Calverine going forward. At the end of the day, it all depends on probably what their budget has to do with and whether or not Feige actually thinks this is a good idea. I hope he does. Based on the fans' reaction and everybody else pushing for this kind of stuff, I hope he's listening to us. I don't know if he does or not. I hope he does, because Henry Cavill as a Wolverine, as the Wolverine going forward in the MCU would be great. And Matt's right. It would go a long ways to heal all of the damage, all of the problems that fans have had up with the MCU as of right now. Whether or not Kevin Feige is smart enough to do that, only time will tell. But at the end of the day, Henry Cavill absolutely deserves a shot at being the Wolverine. And I certainly think they're not dumb enough to not at least talk to him. So I believe this rumor to be 100% true. And who knows, boys and girls, maybe we'll all get lucky and we will get Henry Cavill as the Wolverine going forward.